So thank you. I'm honoured to be here today to tell you about the second of the three UK government-funded and industry-funded initiatives in digital pathology that have transformed and will transform digital pathology in this country and the world. And I'm pleased to be the director of the Northern Pathology Imaging Cooperative. These are my disclosures. I've been working with industry at Leeds for quite some time now because we've been doing digital pathology for a while. My other disclosure is this is not my first time at the University of Warwick campus. I'm the one with the yellow balloon. Very happy holiday in 1982 visiting my aunts and uncles who live in Coventry. So those of you who are not familiar with this process, and I'm conscious that most of the room won't know why we're talking about this, is that our government decided that it needed to invest a little bit more in the life sciences and in particular in artificial intelligence. So this is the UK government's industrial strategy, which is a new direction for our government to take. And they identified the National Health Service as a system, an ideal system in which to develop artificial intelligence using healthcare data. And I feel very strongly that if AI is going to work in healthcare, it's going to work first of all in digital pathology and then maybe a bit later in digital radiology. And that, as we all know, there's an increasing global demand for pathology and a shortage of pathologists. I've heard one estimate that China, in order to have NHS levels of pathology provision, would need 100,000 newly trained pathologists. So the idea was, let's put some government money into this to improve healthcare and also to develop new industry in the UK and beyond. So I'm recycling the marketing slides that I used to get the money, so forgive me if there's a bit of marketing in this. We were asked, well, why would you need to do this? And we came up with 5 areas, challenges for the government and for the country in this area. So why is AI and digital pathology not widely used? These 5 reasons. The technology is not widely used in the NHS or across the world, so you haven't actually got a market in which you can sell AI. There is not a lot of high-quality data sets available. There are some outstanding examples of publicly shared data sets that we've all used for our research, but actually they're just the beginning. Everyone talks glibly about interoperability and standards, but they are an issue if you're serious about AI in healthcare. There's a certain amount of adoption and stimulating the market that these 3 sites or products will do. And then at Leeds, our interest is really in the next stuff coming along the horizon. So what new research and innovation opportunities are there? So this is marketing again. So hopefully you know about Leeds Digital Pathology. We've been doing it for a long time. Within a 20-mile radius of our hospital, we've got 23 scanners already, and we do a lot of scanning, and we keep all the data. So that's our lab there with the 9 scanners in the NHS lab, and we're actually using them. There's happy technicians operating them and generating a terabyte of data a day. So these are the sort of things that we produce. This is Bethany Williams' work on the accuracy of glass versus digital pathology, which is the foundation for the Royal College guidelines for digital pathology in this country. Hopefully you've used our website. We have 8,000 slides in a slide library there, and we host a lot of external quality assurance schemes and clinical trials. We went into partnership with Leica in order to do our clinical deployment in the hospital at Leeds. And that produced lots of outputs, including business cases, how to go digital, and this Leeds Guide to Digital Pathology, which you can download from our website, little starter guide. We do lots of public engagement things. This is the Power Wall, a very large tile display that we use for teaching and training. That was actually then commercialized as Leeds Virtual Microscope. It's been sold to Roche, and then we've made stuff like that color calibration slide for digital pathology. So that's all marketing. And what we said was, if the animations work, that we're going to build on that and do something to show that you can develop digital pathology in the NHS and use that as a substrate for developing artificial intelligence and going through the whole cycle, missing the box at the end, of coming up with an idea, developing an AI tool, trying it out in the real world in the NHS, and then using it for patients. That's what we propose to do. So this is the project in a single slide. In total, we're getting £10.1 million of government funding, matched by £7 million of industry funding. And we're doing 2 complementary networks for digital pathology. The bit in the middle is the part of England called West Yorkshire. It covers a population of about 3 million people. And within that, we're going to fully digitize routine clinical practice across 6 hospitals. And in the red bit, is a wider network across the north of England amongst academic trusts and pathology university departments, covering a population of 15 million people who will be looking at precision medicine's applications of digital pathology. We've got 10 industry partners, including a variety of large and small partners. And because we have these two complementary networks and we have complementary and competing vendors in our partnership, we're able to cover on the blue side full digitization of a service across a region, and on the left precision medicine, and in the middle the interoperability, quality assurance and standards that you need to do to make sure that digital pathology is a success in the real world. So the partners, the proposal is led by the University of Leeds and Leeds Teaching Hospitals, our hospital and our university. On the university side, these are our 6 northern universities who are part of the academic precision medicine partnership, and University of Oxford involved in their bioethics centre. These are the 6 hospitals in West Yorkshire that will be going fully digital. And an important point to say is Leeds is a very large cancer centre that looks like every other cancer centre, we hope, in the world in terms of quality and size. But we've deliberately got a very wide mixture of hospitals here. So some of the hospitals in our partnership have got 3 pathologists and are very remote, small district general hospitals or community hospitals. So we're going to show that you can do digital pathology and AI even outside of a big fancy teaching hospital. These are our industrial partners. Leica and Roche are the scanner hardware providers. Sectra are our PACS provider. I'll just highlight a few of the other vendors here. FFEI we've been working with for some years. They're a colour company and a life sciences company in the UK. XLab Systems are a Leeds-based laboratory interoperability company. They specialise in HL7 interlab transfer of information. And linked to that is Intuitive. This is a knowledge company, a synoptic reporting tool that allows you to capture CAP cancer checklists or Royal College cancer checklists. We've got Clinisys, a laboratory information system vendor that provide the lists for most of the hospitals in our regions, and Heterogeneous, University of Leeds artificial intelligence spin-out, and Optimam, a project that has a good track record of sharing NHS data for academic and industry partnership in mammography. This is the team and the governance. So the 3 directors, co-directors are myself, Darren Treanor, David Hogg, Professor of Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence at Leeds, Richard Corbridge, the Chief Information Officer of the hospital. And then we have a wide team of academics who are all leading on the work packages that I'll explain briefly. Most important person on the project is on the right there, Daljit Bansal. No pressure. Daljit is the project operations director who will be starting on the project in July. And she's going to be a very key person in making sure all of this works well. So briefly, the work packages that we propose, there are 5. Work package 1 is a big deployment of digital pathology across a population of 3 million people. We'll be generating about 760,000 slides per year, which is about 3 terabytes per day, or 1.2 petabytes of data per year. And it's not just putting the scanners in, it's doing what we did at Leeds, which is training pathologists, validating that they're happy to use digital pathology for primary diagnosis, capturing the pathology reports and the synoptic cancer reports that are machine readable across that region for 3 million patients, supporting clinical pathways across the region for cancer diagnosis, and also capturing and demonstrating the benefits of digital pathology and the AI tools that might sit on top of that. And there are 2 happy breast pathologists at Leeds working digitally. The other deployment is across the N6 universities in the north of England. A smaller scale deployment in terms of the number of slides scanned and the number of scanners, but a very targeted deployment using the Roche scanner to do image analysis algorithms for prediction and prognosis of cancer across a variety of cancers. They're the 2 deployments. On top of that, we've built a proposal for national image exchanges and data exchanges, and this will be a standards-based system that will be available to use by anyone in the UK that wants to at the end of the project. The 2 diagrams on the right demonstrate them. XLabs are the specialists in information exchange between laboratories, and they're going to provide a national pathology data exchange that allows you to send samples and requests between labs. And Sectra will provide an image exchange that will allow point-to-point transfer of images across networks in the NHS. And we're deliberately building it with this sort of open technology stack on the, well, not open, a flexible technology stack on the left that will allow you to use a variety of scanners, PACS systems, and AI tools, depending on who you want to work with. Work package 2 is about creating and sharing data sets, which is one of the major drivers of this government funding. 2.1 is lurking there like a small thing, but actually the ethics and the public trust of this are possibly one of the most important aspects of doing this right. So we have an entire work package dedicated to making sure that the patients whose data this is and the public who funded it are satisfied that we're doing it right. And there's a very complex piece of engagement to do there, which I think is probably shared across all of our networks. There will be a piece of work about anonymization and securely sharing images. How do you do that and have the right contractual and technical arrangements in place to do that? And then we expect that we will be making bespoke data sets that link across different types of data in time. So there's a work package about starting to gather that data and those processes together. Work package 3 is about the glue that links it all together and makes it work in the future in the real world. So interoperability and standards is work package 3.1. And there's 2 components to that. One is the imaging standards. DICOM is the proposed solution for interoperability. We have David Clooney. Am I allowed to call you the grandfather of DICOM? No, sorry, I just did. Who's on the project. And then on the pathology side, we have pathology data standards using HL7. XLabs are our partners who do that. Part 2 sounds a little bit boring, quality assurance for digital pathology and AI, and we expect that will be a national effort. But it's actually really important. Are your scanners the same color today as they were a month ago? Is your AI going to work, or is it going to completely fail? So we're doing that work with FFEI, who we made our color calibration slide with, and we'll be generating additional efforts during the project. We've already contacted some of the technical people on the other projects to say that there'll be a workshop at Leeds about starting the work with the British Standards Institute, the National Physical Laboratory, and ourselves in July. And then there's a work package about, well, does it work? So how do you actually use AI in clinical practice? How do you validate it? How do you assess that it's working and that you can press the button and wait for the machine to tell you the answer? And that links to the people side of it. So this is Bethany Williams giving one of our workshops at Leeds. Will the doctors accept it? And if they accept it, how will they use it? So we plan engagement activities with our cohort of about 100 pathologists so that they understand digital pathology, they understand AI, and also to understand if you want AI to be successful in pathology, what is that going to look like? And finally, the exemplars, which were required as part of the bid to demonstrate that what you're doing was sensible. So we've got 3 exemplars, one with Roche, applying AI to precision medicine problems, one with Heterogeneous, looking at tumor quantification, and one with Leica, examining breast cancer prognosis and diagnosis. And the point about this is these are just 3 exemplars, but we are very serious that these are just reusable processes, and we expect all of that 1 petabyte of data per year to be used for other projects and other activities which we haven't even thought of yet. We're taking it very seriously, so our Gantt chart has got 950 lines in it, and our risk register's got 180 lines, and we think we've got the right team of people who've already done it once in one hospital, so we think we can do it right across the others. So there we go, that's what we propose to do, and that's the proper life cycle that we propose. Today is really just an introduction for those of you in the room in the UK and beyond who are interested in knowing about it. These are our contact details if you want to know more, and starting from the summer we'll be actively looking for collaborations and further opportunities with industry, academia and hospitals. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren, for this excellent presentation. So there is time for a few questions from the audience.
Nobody's asking about backup, no? Petabyte of data, how am I going to back it up?
Hello, hi. I have quick question, sorry. So I've read an article saying that, so there was a survey conducted a couple of years ago that the 70% of the NHS leaders have no confidence in terms of financial support to go digital. So I was just wondering in the future, how would you suggest to overcome this? So, for example, you've spent millions of pounds to let the clinic or a couple of small hospitals around you to go digital, but probably there are 70% of the hospital will have no financial support to go digital. How do you?
You mean outside of these 3 networks?
Yeah.
So I think that's a common. So we do workshops at Leeds on how to go digital, and it's a common concern of pathologists that most pathology departments are not well funded, and they ask how can we afford to go digital, and we recognise that. We've written papers on how to make the business case and where might the opportunities. Why would you go digital? And don't want to give a glib answer. I think. When I've been asked that by our executive level people, I've told them 10 years from now, if you're not digital, you're going to be at the back of the queue in the NHS in terms of recruiting pathologists, in terms of using new technologies. So it's a bit of a glib answer, but in some ways, pathology can't afford not to go digital. In the short term, I think it's incumbent on us who have been the people to go digital first to capture those benefits. So Juan is maybe in the room somewhere. He talked about the benefits to his lab of going digital in Granada. I don't see him. But he's stated that he feels his lab has improved in efficiency by over 10, maybe even 20%. At Leeds, we're doing some work this year on pathologist workflow and efficiency, and we expect over the next 3 years that we'll do those things too, so that we can give a number and say, put this into your business case. I don't know if that answers the question, but I do recognise that this is a unique opportunity. And the point is, it's a pilot. It's not meant to be this is for the world to follow in a way. We're not necessarily saying that the whole country must go 100% digital today.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What are your primary use cases you're targeting for the image and lab data exchange network? Is it research-based or is it clinical, and if so, how?
Yeah, so the intention of the interchanges are clinical, although they could be used to support research activities like clinical trials, but the intention is clinical. So if I've got a liver biopsy in Leeds and I want to get a second opinion from King's College in London, it'll be that. So we're not going to specifically target 1 or 2 disease areas. It'll just be, this is a system and this is how you use it to same cases.
One more question here.
Thank you, Darren, for this presentation. It's very useful for all the projects that are being designed. My question is about the storage, long-term storage. Have you designed what's going to happen after this project ends? How will we? How you will be able to be sustainable with so many petabytes that we are going to generate on this?
Yeah. So when we started in 2004, I'd never heard the word terabyte before. And we had a 4 terabyte system. It was as big as a fridge, and it cost £120,000. Okay, so now you can buy a single disk that's 8 terabytes that you can put in your pocket. So I don't mean to dismiss the storage issue, but it's not as much of an issue as it was in 2003. We plan to keep the data. Our national guidelines are that for medical legal reasons, you must keep medical data for 8 years after it's generated. But I personally think for our institution, it would be a shame to not keep an enormous archive that you keep using and retraining on, as long as you haven't got obsolescence of the scanners. One partner that some of you may have noticed I didn't name check when I was listing the partners is in the center of the diagram there, Microsoft. And I think there's a recognition that current storage modalities are not well suited to digital pathology or to genomics data, which is huge and doesn't change, whereas most big data systems, hardware systems at the moment, are suited to rapidly changing large data sets like email documents and things like that. So we've got a very long-term view on that there needs to be new types of storage. You shouldn't have to spend £1 million a year on storage to digitize a hospital. It should be far less than that, and that's our direction of travel.